welcome back. The Commonwealth is a voluntary association of 54 independent and equal countries. It is home to 2.4 billion people and includes both advanced economies and developing countries. Member states work together to promote prosperity, democracy and peace, also to amplify the voice of small states and protect the environment. Now, the Secretary-General, that is Patricia Scotland, is the 6th Commonwealth Secretary-General, now joins me via Skype to discuss some of the measures that the Commonwealth has put in place to curb COVID-19 and more. Secretary-General, good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Secretary-General, this morning we want to zone in specifically on the issue of domestic and sexual violence and really talk about what the Commonwealth response has been to these issues.
Well, as you know, we've all been devastated by the impact of COVID-19. That pandemic has reached into every single one of our lives and homes, and whether directly or indirectly, we've been affected by it. But as a result of so many of us having to be locked in our homes, it's meant for those who suffer from domestic violence that home has become a place of pain and difficulty because there's nowhere to run. And so in some of our countries, the domestic violence rate, which is already 1 in 3 women and girls across the world, I mean, whether we're rich, we're poor, we're black, we're white, whatever our circumstance, it is affecting 1 in 3 women. And what we've found in many of our countries is that violence has gone up. Some countries by 30%, but in some of our countries, 500%. Wow. So it's like a silent pandemic. COVID, by the grace of God, we hope will eventually leave. And it is leaving because the whole world is coming together to try and find the solution. And it's exactly the same thing that we have to do with this other pandemic, which is killing and damaging 1 in 3 women and girls in the whole world. And we're also looking at what we do about sexual violence, because that too during this COVID period has gone up. And just as the Commonwealth came together to create a COVID-19 resource centre to help our member states to better understand what works, what doesn't work, how we can deal with COVID, we've done exactly the same thing in terms of domestic violence. We've joined and linked arms with the foundation No More, and we've launched our campaign, which is Commonwealth Says No More, because this epidemic, which has become a pandemic for violence in our homes, we have to deal with it just as robustly. And so we have put together a portal as part of our Commonwealth Says No More, which will create all of the tools that our member states will need to try and fight this more aggressively. No country has done as well as it would like. All of us are struggling with this, and we are determined as a Commonwealth family to struggle together, to pool our knowledge, our expertise, so that we save money, but we also must save lives. And I'm really proud at the way the Commonwealth has come together as one family. We represent 1/3 of the world. And if we can work together in the same manner that we work to fight COVID, I think we can really be the difference that we need to see in the world and protect our women, our girls, but also our boys and our men too.
Secretary-General, is there perhaps any insight you can share with us this morning as to why these figures have risen during this COVID-19 pandemic?
I think there's a lot of pain and difficulty right now. Lots of women and girls are locked in their homes. During the lockdown, nobody could leave. The pressure of that has caused some people to get closer and be more loving and kind and absolutely renew their relationship and understand why they're together. But unfortunately for others, it has been a place of no escape. Many of the people who are subjected to domestic violence escape to work. The children escape to school. There are other people who will see what's happening. But when you're closed in, locked in with your abuser, there is nowhere to go. And therefore, we have been looking together to see how can we help? How can we make sure that those who are suffering with this know that there is help, there is support. So if you go onto our portal, we have created information, not just for governments and local government and institutions to know how to respond, but for individuals. What do you do if you're a neighbour and you hear this happening next door? What do you do if you're a bystander and you watch it happening before your eyes? So many people say, I'd love to intervene. I'd like to do something. I just don't know how, and I don't know where to go. So what we have done is created this resource centre, and for every country, there will be a flag. There's a flag for Namibia. And we are looking at putting all the information that's available in each of our countries on the website, so you know, what about, is there a helpline? Is there a local centre? What do you do if you are in trouble? What resources are there in your own country? What's great about the resource centre that we've created in the portal is it tells you what other countries and other people are doing, and you could perhaps try to do the same thing too.
That's fantastic.
We know that domestic violence is the same everywhere, which is terrible. But it's also good because if it is manifesting itself in the same way and we find out what works, then we can share it. And with us having the same language, speaking in the same language, having the same tools, having common law, having the same institutions, the parliamentary structures, we can help each other to go faster. And I know the president who has done, and the government who've done so well in tackling COVID and are absolutely committed to this issue. When I was in Namibia, I remember talking to the president, and he had put stopping violence against women and girls and violence in the home right at the top of his agenda. So I know the government is passionate about this, and we need to do everything we can. Every man, woman and girl and boy can be the difference that we need to make. And we have on the resource centre things that people can do for campaigns. We're saying, please go onto our website, hashtag Commonwealth says no more, take the pledge, find out what you can do to help keep the people you love safe, because there's a lot. And the Commonwealth's looking at how we also address the economic cost of domestic violence, because it's costing us globally about $1.5 trillion. That's the figure it was in 2016. So we know that's gone up. So it means that across the world, every single one of us is $200 poorer than we would or should be if we were able to battle this. So there is something we can do. We can do it together. And I'm really proud of the Commonwealth Says No More. We've got some great people supporting us. We've got stars right across the Commonwealth coming online saying no more. Our ministers are saying no more. Your minister came and joined us at the Women's Affairs meeting, and all the Women Affairs ministers were saying, we are saying no more. And you know what was fantastic? Our men are saying no more as well. So this is something I really think we can do if we choose. And I'm so proud that in the Commonwealth, we are choosing to battle this pandemic as well as COVID-19.
Well, Secretary General, thank you so much for joining us here on GMN this morning. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Pleasure to you too. And please, everyone, come and be part of that campaign. Let's end this pandemic. We can do it together.
Thank you. That was Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, speaking to us via Skype, talking to us about the portal that the Commonwealth has created in an effort to fight that is domestic violence and sexual violence. And you can go onto their website and follow hashtag Commonwealth Says No More. Click on your country's flag and get all the information needed to know what your country is doing in terms of domestic and sexual violence, where there's help available to individuals. All the information is on this portal. We'll be right back after the short break.